this green. Okay, Lawrence is from Houston, Texas. I didn't realize, Lawrence, you're in Texas. All right, and that's what you need. You need that link. I'm giving you that link, which is a bit.ly abbreviation of our major link here. And I'm giving it to you on chat. There you are. Wonderful. Now, just for those who haven't seen it, these are the links that are convenient. That's the folder where all the materials are. I dropped them there. If you need something, it is there. That is the record of what we have done. So that is the session for today, March 15th. And the rest is previous sessions. And we collect all the interesting new things. I believe at least those that, okay. You know, Lawrence, you say you're a fellow Texan. There were those car stickers or car something, which said, I was not born in Texas, but I got here as soon as I possibly could. So maybe that is what applies to you, right? Okay, so that's you. All right, great, thank you. Now, that is what we do now, and whatever attracts my and your attention, because you, okay, hi, John from Dallas. Because whatever you suggest, I put it here, and we try, Algie, we try to do it the next time. But, okay, now what we will do today is this. Last time our question was, is Andrew Ng courses, are they free? And I wasn't sure because I have the subscription anyway. So what I've done is just logged in into the same course in a different way. How does that happen? So here is the learning path. That learning path has all that I was collecting. Essentially, it is from Andrew Ng, but I have something more than that to tell you. Okay, what is more than that? That's the latest letter from Andrew Ng that came yesterday. And what he says is that I have published quite a few courses. Correct. I think I didn't miss any of them. If I did, I apologize, and maybe I added, but essentially, he announced the same list as what you have here. He collected all of his courses all in one place. Here you are. That is the Crown Achievement. That's all his courses. I probably am logged in, so I wanted to show you, look, no login, not quite. You would log in. I wonder what will happen if I log out and then I can log in with any of the Google accounts that I want. But let's not experiment with that. What's important is that you can create a free account and then you will have courses. It tracks what you are doing. Courses that you are doing are marked as in progress, and I at least started every one of them. So here they are, right? That's an amazing amount of courses, all for free. Okay, and it's pretty clear by now how Andrew does it. He invites other people to do the course, so let them suffer. And they create the course, Andrew publishes it. It all started with his own courses that he did, but then others do the hard work. Now there is more. It says 14 in progress, probably accomplishment is something special. And okay, sorry, I'm distracted by the chat. Accomplishment is something special. For that, you would need to probably buy something. I don't know. In any case, that's the first news. The fact that you don't have to even collect them into this table, you can just go to Andrew course and do them. Now, what I'm offering here for convenience is something else. First of all, I go through these courses and I download the notebooks and I make sure they run in my environment. That is because, of course, it will work in his. Well, most likely. Sometimes it doesn't even work in his environment, but most likely it will work in his environment. So you go there, let's say this one. That was the first one, okay? LLM prompt engineering, it was called, so I'm going there, right? I allow them to start. Okay, well, to be fair, I should turn on the sound. So what I'm doing is stopping the share, sharing it again with the sound. Okay.
GPT prompt engineering for developers. I'm thrilled to have with me Isa Fulford to teach this along.
Well, that's how they all are constructed. An excited Andrew in introduces new course, and then a no less excited person does the course, and that was the first one. For each course, if you start listening like this, okay, then as a
In this video, Isa
reward, you get the actual notebook. I'll show you how to download it. You say download as, and you get your complete notebook. Here it is. So it is now downloaded. If you look into these downloads, here it is. Of course, it's a Python notebook, so it will not work by double click. But instead, you have to bring it into your environment. That's what I do. So I've done that for you. Okay. Now, I promise not to get distracted by chat anymore. So if something is urgent, please speak up. Later on, I'll look at the chats. But when you download that's not enough, then you need to run it. So you put it into your area and then run Jupyter there. Let me show you how I do it. Okay, I go into my raw code directory where I collect all of them. And I make sure that I have the .env file, which I will show you for a second. That has all the credentials. I'll be getting these credentials out of the hidden file later on. Well, I think I didn't get much by hiding it because it will be recorded. Very stupid of me. Okay, I just hope you guys are nice guys and girls. All right, this is the credentials files. The rest are all the courses, and I only need to activate the right Python environment, which I do by saying conda activate open AI. And when I need to add a package, I go into this conda activate OpenAI and I add the package. So I throw in everything that I need. In the end, it will be a mess and I will have to clean it up. Let's say somebody wants me to teach any of these courses, which is a doubtful enterprise nowadays. If you have all these courses here, why would anybody want to learn it from me? But by now, I think it's more and more that the trainers are like babysitters. They make sure that people come to class, they make sure they listen, and today that's already a big achievement. To get someone to listen, that's already a big deal. So maybe that's why they would want me or my other trainers to teach. Let's go back. What we're doing is talking about Andrew Ng. Yes, the courses are free, and that's the latest course. That's what I was coming to, and that's what I will show you today. That's the latest course. So in his list, in Andrew's list here, that is listed as the new course, exactly, because it's probably a week old. That is definitely the latest. Okay, I can close that now. I can close that too. And let's go to this latest course because it is interesting on its own right. Let's see what the promise is. The promise is that knowledge graphs can also talk and be talked about. So far, we talked only about text. And we know the general architecture. It's called RAG. RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation, And please don't pay any attention to those terms. They are just marketing or hype, because I'll tell you what it is. It means you're taking all your information, you store it in a database. The database is a searchable syntactic search engine, which knows how to search by meaning and not by keywords, not SQL. It's just smart enough, but not smart enough because it was born in 2013 and AI was officially on the scene in March 2023. So there is a mismatch, a basic mismatch in this architecture, right, between the old technology to search for your additional knowledge and the new technology to do AI. Okay? So I stated that. That's very important. And then everything else becomes just a play around this limitations of this architecture. But the limitations are no limitations. It's great. It works for many people. And Neo4J, what is that? That is a graph database. Why it is called Neo4J? I researched it. It is Neo because there is a character in Matrix who is called Neo. Now, I apologize, I'm just saying words because I don't watch movies and I don't know what is Matrix movie. But you might know NEO character. 4J means for Java, really, but now it's not Java, it's all other kinds of languages. It kept its name, Neo4J, sounds nice. That is a link to the course. You would click there and get the same course as what I showed you, either directly or through a complete list of all Android courses. And it's just amazing amount of knowledge, you know. How can, I know it's corny joke, but how can you sleep knowing that there's so much interesting thing to learn, and also knowing that, I don't know if I showed you that, I got the fiber. So I didn't know that I got fiber, and the guys who provided my internet very nicely didn't tell me, right? But that's impressive, right? It's a gigabyte. I actually have an option of 2 gigabytes, but my computer cannot even do that. So the internet maxes out my computer. I'm waiting for the next step. The next step is really wonderful because upload is the same as download. And we all know that uploads are 100 times slower. 100 times slower on my previous provider. All right, with these two things, it's very hard to sleep at night. But that is the link to the actual repository. So I downloaded that. If I go to the course, let's go to the course. Then yes, I get that course, very nice. And I get the notebooks. Let's see if they work. Because here it's
RAG systems start by using vector.
This one works. But note that it comes from somewhere on Amazon. So it takes 30 minutes to start, and then you cannot download. I did all of that. I downloaded, I removed that message, and I'm going to present you what you can do with them. In other words, question, why? Why should we even care about this? What is it? How does it help? What is it for? That's what I'm going to show you now. All right. So if so, we can do this. We can close that so that it's not distracting us and continue with what I've done. So I did this, and then I'm in the right environment, and then I should be able to say Jupyter Lab. And watch what happens. What happens is I probably am already running it somewhere. But you see, it's 8889, not 8888. So 888, wherever it is, I'm not going to find and kill it. I have all of my labs here. Before I do that, however, I want to show you a little slide. For that, you go into the webinar folder. Webinar folder. And that's where the slides are. Besides, that link actually shows you the slides here. That link is the slides. So you either open the webinar folder or you click on that link. Let's try that. It says download. Okay, I will download. And I will find my downloaded slides in my download folder, which is right here. Open. So those slides are very simple. I took them from the lecture. I remove the annotate. I start from the beginning. And then first they explain to you what graphs are. Okay, so they say that graphs are objects or nodes and connections or links. And there are other terms how we can call them. But from here, we see pretty much that Andrew is a person, and Andreas is a person, and Andrew is another person. So Andreas knows since 2024 Andrew. That is the first slide, and that shows you the existence of graphs in general. Graphs, here they are. Well, you can do more. You can add more nodes. For example, instead of the fact that Andreas knows Andrew, you can say that Andreas teaches a course and that Andrew introduces the course, so whatever it is. So you could say that that's a teacher and that's the introducer, but you don't have to say it. You keep the object, the node, the vertex as is, and you limit yourself to connections. Well, that is nothing new. Let's go. So now you keep the whole story in front of you. Andreas knows Andrew, and he teaches a course that Andrew introduces, and that is the course. So we want two things. We want to understand what this graph is, and by now we do. We also want a way to express this picture in a language. For example, a person teaches a course, another person introduces the course. And therefore, we added three things. Let's go back to the very beginning. We said that is a graph. Then we said that is a query. It's not yet a query, but it's the connections between those objects. And then we said, and this is knowledge. Knowledge is what we can do with this graph. So altogether, we understand that instead of using a database, one approach, and instead of using a search engine, and even syntactic search engine, another approach, we can represent all of our knowledge in a graph. So why? Why would we use a knowledge graph? It requires additional software and it requires a bit more learning. Well, here are the potential advantages. It is still a database. You can query. So it is yet a third type of a database, graph database. You can have a relationship between nodes and their relationships. In addition, nodes can have properties that you can put additional information on the nodes. You can put additional information on the relationship. Relationship is the link that connects the two nodes. And you can even give a nodes labels to group them together. Each relationship will have a direction. So the last slide will show you what I'm leading to. Now, if you have that kind of information, for example, let's say I have a map, and on that map I have different objects. So of course I can code with geographical location of each object, and I can ask what's the difference between this and that, or is that object connected to this? That I can do with any database. But what if I want to ask this question? Who are the 5 close objects next to let's say in this case, manager. Think of that. Who are the 5 closest objects to a certain geographical location? Well, you would have to have a very long query in the database. You would have to read all of them. You would have to maybe sort them by GPS position. And you still don't have the relationships. So that's why you might want to consider a graph database that allows you to ask questions like this. What companies are near each other? Right? You might program it with an SQL database, but it will be painfully slow. Next one. How many investment firms are near the company they invested in? Gotcha, right? You can't easily do it in any other database other than the graph database. Or yet another question. How many investment firms are in the same city as the company they invested in? Well, these strange questions are because of the data that we're going to use. But what I have done first is introduce the idea that yes, there are some problems that are a natural fit for a graph database and not for any other kind of the database, right? So now, next step, I'm going to run some notebooks and show you how you can actually implement it and what are the gotchas that got me and that will got you if you don't follow all the rules. But in the end, what you will get is the programming towards this way. Now, I see a few questions, a few comments. So let me do this. Let me go through this, right? Here you are. Question number 1 was where you're from. Doesn't show anymore. And on the chat, link. Is this a social network graph? Yes, it can be a social network graph, but it can be a financial network graph. It can be an investigator graph. It can be anyone. It's just that I showed that particular one that looked like it's knowledge graph. Knowledge graph is much more generic term, not any specific application. All right. So I said we are right here. Well, let's start. What software does it? So let's look at the introduction. That introduction I got exactly from here, from Neo4J. That is because my application or my downloaded notebooks were not working at first. So I searched for the information and that's where I found it. And it didn't work at all. And that is because you need to sign up. They assume that you know at least something. So I signed up, I got my own instance. The way it works is pretty much the same with, let's say, whatever I use for syntactic database agent, right? There you need to start an instance, and by now they have implemented it with functions, with what they call Lambda on Amazon. This is not implemented with Lambda on Amazon. This is an example of how Neo4J does it. And they tell you that right here, they tell you, you need to be logged in, you need to create something. I was logged in, I created something. So I have somewhere a database that's running for me, and they give it to you for free. Really easy. So when you try to do it on your own, just go to Neo4J, accept, get started for free, just like it says here. And then I copy pasted all these. Then I realized that it's much easier to use the downloaded notebooks. And besides, these notebooks were not downloading it first. That's why I went here. But then in the end, they did get downloaded. Now it's all here. You all can clone this repository and start running. All right, let's look at what we do. First of all, we import OS, that's talking to the operating system, and a very important little thing called .env. That is a trick that allows you to use your .env file. And you must have that, because if you don't do these lines, then it runs but doesn't work. So you need to remember to put it in. Nothing crashes if you forget, but nothing works. All right, so let's do it. And maybe what we'll do, we'll risk it and we'll lose all of the results and start from scratch. So I'm really running and I'm ready to read all the hidden properties. Next step is I connect to that database, Neo4J, that I created when I signed up for free. The username that they give everyone is Neo4J, but the password, that's your own, comes out from here. And then you initialize your object. That's how you're going to talk to your graph. That's all we will do in this one. So I'll show you what kind of talking is allowed. But then we'll go to the last one, 7, where we will talk to the graph, but we'll make it smart graph. And we will use ChatGPT to query the graph. And that will be real fun. And you will finally understand that if you have a use case where you can express your knowledge as a graph, and of course, I'm thinking, I'm into e-discovery. So I'm thinking what kind of graph I can build out of the people participating in this lawsuit. That is already exciting. Or as a researcher, you can do, quietly in your own environment, but follow the big bad guys. So make a graph of the big bad guys. That's what I'm thinking, but your use case may be different. So what you're doing then next is you are bringing prepared on GitHub, probably, right? Prepared some data, import this data, bring that data in, and then get yourself a key. And now you will be able to ask your graph using an AI. That is the plan. But the plan really needs to be implemented, and I am implementing it here. So that's the real crown achievement. That's the top. If something is unclear, just do it again, or go from beginning to end, and you will see the amazing thing. If only, of course, you can come up with a good use case. So let's see what we do here. We import again the same .env, but somewhere we must ask for it. It should work. Let's see. Here it is, importing all the machinery that is needed to talk to the graph, and also that is needed to talk to ChatGPT. So here I am, and no, it doesn't like it. And I suspect it's because I didn't do this. I said, that's very important. And why I didn't do it, how did it happen, I'm not sure. But here it is. So I need to add that. Now it will be able to find .env. Let's see what happens. I'm sorry, something didn't work. So let's do it like this. I did run it. I'll show you. I don't have to actually run it in front of you. It's enough that if I show this, that's kind of a proof that it did work for me at some point of time. So what you can do is SEC, that is Security and Exchange Commission. That's real. That's not a technical term and not an abbreviation, but you get that document. That document comes to you prepared. It has all the financial information, who was the manager, who was, where is the location, how many people work there. So financial information, we can see what it does. And from here, you can ask questions. Who is the manager of that company? Now, manager of that company, that's a direct hit with the graphs, right? So that's what they do here. And now they can find locations and managers and important people. Okay, now they're going to do the investigation. Let's see what kind of investigations they can do. They can ask a simple question. The first level of your questions against the smart graph will be quite simple. Like here. Now, they don't say it like you're used to. They don't say it like who is the manager. Instead, they formulate it in the pseudo SQL language. But later on, they will show you this trick. They will say, we are dealing with an LLM after all. It is smart. So what I want is show me who is the manager in this company and write it out in the language of Neo4J, and it will do it for you. Then the loop will be complete. So let's see what they're doing. Which city in California has the most companies listed? That's a tough question. That's how you express it in the Neo4j. That is the result. Well, of course, these people think that's the whole world, and they're only interested in what's going on in the investments in California. What are the top investment firms in San Francisco? That's how you ask this question, and that's the answer that you get. So you see, Charles Schwab. Now, what is interesting are the questions that would come to at the end. What companies are in Santa Clara? What companies are near Santa Clara? What investment firms are near Palo Alto networks? That's really interesting. And what's interesting is that now we want our LLM to write the code. So what we're saying is that generate a code. Now, the language that they use is called Cypher. It has some mystical connotation, that Cypher, but leave it there. It's a language called Cypher. It's similar to SQL. And now we're asking LLM to write in Cypher. And we're saying, generate a Cypher statement to query a graph database. Nice, right? And then all the details. And then it generates the Cypher. Here is the language that it generates. So then I'm using this pretty complicated Cypher against my database. And what they do then is not only show off how they can ask these questions, where LLM first generates a question to itself and then runs these questions, but also allow you to extend the prompt. Now let's teach it the new Cypher patterns. Okay, granted, it is a bit harder than the very first course. The very first course by Andrew Ng was how to talk to ChatGPT, how to make it summaries, right? But now we're talking about teaching it to teach itself, to teach how to ask questions. But in the end, you get quite an awesome power using that. So my task is to make it work. Why didn't it work yesterday and why it didn't work today? It's an open question, and that's what on me. So what I'm doing is preparing our next session, which is not finished yet. And that is next week. But we're going to improve our Neo4j and maybe come up with a practical use case different from what they all think about. They only think about money. So lab 7 should work. Your use case. And I will give you my use case next time, but contributions are invited. If you can think of some graph applications, in other words, where your knowledge can be expressed in a graph, we'll try to do it. That will be nice. And the practice will be different because the practice that I'm going to show is about Microsoft. So I'll pause for now. I will then go into an interesting thing called Microsoft for Startups. But first, I stop share. I stop talking and allow you to ask questions.
I don't know. I am not able to access that Google Doc. Maybe it's from my side, but
Good question. Let's look at this Google Doc. First of all, that is the link that I'm giving you, right? So what I'm doing is I'm copying that and I'm not sharing, so I should be sharing again. Okay, copying that link, taking that link, opening another browser where I'm not logged in into anything, and does Bitly work? Yes, it does. Does it open that? Yes, it does. Is it signed in? No. So it's your computer, and just email me. We'll work something out. So
okay. Can you post that in chat as well?
yes, I'm posting that in chat.
Yeah, we just moved to different VPN, so maybe that's the reason.
Yeah. My fiber that I showed you, it's too protective. It kills me. It stops my own applications. So that understood. I'm opening the chat and I'm giving you that link. All right, that is the link. More questions? Only one question about the link. Okay. All right, so what we will do is then we'll go to this Microsoft for Startups. I'll tell you what it is, and perhaps you'll do something like that with it. Let's click.
Yeah, that's I disconnected my VPN, so I'm able to connect. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. All right, Microsoft for Startups. I think it's distributed by word of mouth, but I'm logged in. If you're not logged in, then you will see something else. So let me first show you what happens when you're not logged in, but just use that link. Here it says apply. Now that's all. That's all you need to know. But you would apply with LinkedIn, and it gives you a little teaser that if you apply, you might get to 150,000 in Azure credits. One-on-one guidance for Microsoft experts and much more. Okay, let me talk about how it works. So if I sound like a promoter of Microsoft, I apologize. It was very popular to bash Microsoft, but I think that time is long time ago. And by now, there are, well, they own GitHub, they own Skype, they run open source, and they're not as hard to work with. As a programmer, I avoided them. I started with Visual Basic, and I got a certificate, but it still wasn't easy. Well, now it's amazingly easy, so I'm amazed. That's really what I am. 150. Well, I didn't get 150. I got 25,000 in Azure credits, but you just need to spend more. It's unbelievable, but if you spend more, they will give you more. Of course, there's a limit, 150. You get one-on-one guidance. That's really true. We used that yesterday. We wanted to move from Amazon to Azure, and we got good guidance. Now, I teach all of them, so I should be able to give that guidance. But nevertheless, the guidance was good, and it's like this. Microsoft says, hey, expert, who wants to promote himself? We'll promote you. You just give people free consultations. That's how it works. And so much more. I'll show you what is so much more. So you can try to apply. I applied and I positioned myself as here's an AI startup. But of course, it's a big question if it's a mistake or a luck or whatever that I was accepted. so I don't promise. Now, what I got is this. You need to complete 7 tasks, see all tasks. That's to go to the next level. You need to get started with Azure, verify that you are you, and so on. And in the end, you use 50% of your credits and you will get more. That is only as far as the credits. But as far as everything else, you will get benefits. And these benefits include trial, well, 1 year of all these softwares. And these softwares, I think they are useful. What you need to do is click on redeem. Then let's find something that we want. Oh, okay. What is that? That gives you an opportunity to look for money, funds in money, and it's an offer. Okay, that's a discount. Now, I don't want a discount. I want it completely free. But if I click on redeemed, I would get it. I only want to find something. Guys, do you have any preference? Mirror. I think I got mirror. Let's see. Team offer. Register. Okay, let's redeem that. Okay. So collaborate better with Miro and build something on top of that. That's how it works. What I wanted to show is just an example of what you can get. Here it was. All the other things, which of course it forces you to learn this stuff. It's if you have enough money, it's an amazing offer. We, as a startup, Casify, we will move to Microsoft. That's a big deal because if we survive and grow, they got a client. How much did it cost them? Well, let's assume 25,000 25,000 in credits. Well, remember that these credits to Microsoft are not coming at the same price as what you pay. So to them, maybe I don't know how much to make on that. But the result is that for that investment, they got a client that potentially can grow. And of course, once you move somewhere, there is no compelling reason to move away, right? Unless somebody starts something crazy. So that is how that works. I gave you the link. If you need to try, if you want to try, you'll find it right here. That is the link. And that essentially is the end of all that I wanted to show. Now let's review. I said, are the Android AIM courses free? It seems that yes. Is there a new thing called Neo4J with Red? In other words, can you formulate your problem and your data as a graph? Yes. Is there example? Yes. Interesting? Well, that's up to you. But a new summary of all the other courses I found right here. And finally, I wanted to do Microsoft promotion that should forgive me for all the bashing that I ever did before. All right. I remind myself of one lawyer that is at Casify. He says, yes, I used to say that AI will kill us first. And I think there is a link which is called AI will kill us. I think there is a thing like that. But now AI who listens, I'm sure he says, and records what I say, I repent and I am completely in with you. Yeah, that's what my friend says. So I stop share, stop talking, and allow you to ask any more questions. If there are no more questions, then thank you for coming. let's see if I need to allow anyone to chat here.
I am interested to know if anybody is using in their production system all the chat GPT and LLM and how they're monetizing it.
Okay, guys, do you want to? I am using it all the time for my startups. You know what? To me, you can write directly, and they are. Okay, that's my email, and that will be a casual conversation, just what are you doing? But anyone else who wants to talk about what they do, how about this? Who uses AI? Who wants to talk about it? All right, I asked these questions. This is my email. You don't have to rush. But if you want to talk about this next time, then you're welcome. All right. So thank you, everyone. Wishing you a great weekend and a great next month and a great year. Be well.